Hello, I'm Dwayne McIntyre, Chairman of the Russell County Republican Party, and this is Campaign Corner. Today we have with us special guest, Delegate Rob Bell from the 58th District. How you doing, Rob? We thank you so much
for having me on.
being on the show. Yeah, Rob is presenting the Food Freedom Act at our banquet here October 10th, and it's actually turned out to be a really good banquet. We're looking at close to maybe 200 guests before it's all said and done. What most people don't realize is the bill that you are putting in next year's legislation is actually written by citizens.
That's right.
Of the Commonwealth. So it's not really a...
Yeah, but I think that people, they think that it's harder than it actually is to get a bill drafted up. And what happened was there's a lady, Bernadette, who's very, very interested in this issue, and she came to me and she presented to me. I said, gosh, that's a great idea. And then she said, well, we would like to work with you. We want you to be the patron. And she has done more work than anyone else in trying to get the language right, and that sounds technical, but it's not. She just goes back and forth and says, what about the beekeepers? What about the beef? What about the dairy? What about these things? And she has largely been the one who's put the words to paper that if we can get it passed, will become the law of Virginia. And I admire anybody that can do that, because it's awfully easy to grouse and complain, and all of us like to say, well, this is terrible, somebody ought to fix it. And she's the one who's stepping up to fix it.
Well, I know that last year, I met Bernadette. Actually, we talked when you ran for Attorney General.
That's right.
You had talked to me and gave me her number. We talked briefly, but it was last year. I was on Facebook and I saw this sign a petition for the Food Freedom Act, and it was like 5 days before you guys were having the meeting in Richmond.
Right.
I drove all the way across state just to be there because that was such a brilliant bill, and I've met Bernadette. She is one of the most diligent people I've ever met. So,
well, even that, I mean, people think that you look at Washington and they think you have to be a lobbyist or a lawyer to testify. That's just not so. Now, if we have 300 people in a room, we'll kind of say, could you organize yourself into, you 20 people pick somebody, you 20 people pick somebody. But basically, anybody who wants to testify can testify about a bill. And we weren't successful. We didn't have the votes we needed, but these often take several years, and sort of bit by bit, you bring people onto the team, and you get enough to get out of committee, and then it moves forward.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I mean, I'm on the ground, and I'm obviously a big fan of this bill, and I think that we're definitely breaking ranks here in numbers, and I think this year we'll see a good support for this bill.
Great.
This is Campaign Corner, and so we got some campaigns running this year. One that we both are a part of.
That's right.
Ed Gillespie. So what do you think? I mean, last week we got a report Ed Gillespie is coming in within single digits for Mark Warner.
Well, it's a big deal because through the summer it had been kind of quiet, even into the fall. There just didn't seem to be a lot of attention on the race, which would be great if you were ahead, but we weren't. We were trying to catch up. And so bit by bit, Ed's numbers were coming up, and they finally broke an important threshold, which is he's down by 9 behind Warner. But the second thing is Warner just can't break 50%, and that's, if you're an incumbent, that's a big deal. So the incumbents always say, I want to be well above 50 so that when the negative ads start coming, I can lose some votes and still win. Warner's not even there yet. Now, we need some things to go our way. We've got, 5 weeks? Yeah, 5 weeks to go.
Not too long.
And so that over the next 5 weeks, the first 3 or 4 of them will be TV and radio and mail, and the last week will be getting our voters to show up. But if we can do that, you have the same scenario we had back in 2006 with George Allen. You had an incumbent, he just couldn't put the race away, couldn't put it away. Webb kept sticking around, same thing. Ed just won't go away. If Warner is not careful, they always say that the undecided votes break against the incumbent because they've had 6 years to figure out if they wanted to be the senator. They've decided, I'm not sure. Yeah. Those are people that we can get. So I'm much more optimistic than we were 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, I think Ed's got a real clear plan. He's not really skirting any of the issues. He's hitting them all head on. So I think that's what voters are really looking for. And I mean, I know, we need direction. So, we wish Ed the best of luck.
And Warner was elected 6 years ago on the promise of being a different kind of Democrat, that he would be a centrist and work with both sides. And then he voted with Obama 97% of the time. And so he's not delivered on what he promised, and I think it's time to say, look, that's not what we wanted. We wanted to have a voice for Virginia, not for President Obama.
As a farmer, I just kind of came across this information. Mark Warner is proposing, or he has proposed, I'm not sure exactly what the details are, but he was looking to even take away farmers' dairy cows for their own personal use, like just banning raw milk out completely, even for, because as it stands right now, I'm a farmer. I get to milk my own cow, drink my own milk, but I'm not allowed to sell it. But apparently, let's legalize marijuana and ban raw milk. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with our government nowadays, but so yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's definitely not the guy we need, and yeah.
Well, whether it be the war on coal, whether it be just making it harder for business people to make money, whether it being for Obamacare, those are his votes. And it's 6 years now, and we've got a good read on what he's going to do. If we re-elect him now, we do it with our eyes wide open. I hope that Virginians will give that a chance.
Yeah. Well, the other candidate we have running in the 9th District, of course, is Congressman Morgan Griffith. He's re-electing, or he's rerunning for his seat.
Right.
And it turns out that you actually know Morgan pretty well.
Yeah, Morgan and I served. The lawyers in the General Assembly all sit on one committee because nobody else can stand to listen to us talk so much. So we're on that committee, and even on that committee, there's a subcommittee called the Criminal Law Subcommittee, and we are we stay the latest, we hear the most bills, and boy, do we like to spend a lot of time together. And so many late nights. It's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Everybody else has gone home to their beds, and Morgan and those of us on the committee, and he was the chairman. And when he left, Dave Albo took over, and when Dave was promoted, I took over. So I actually have Morgan's old seat on the committee. Good. And we even call it Morgan Griffithing. So what happens is, it's easy to write a bill that gets the bad guy. The hard part is making sure you don't get a bunch of other people with it, and that's one of our projects. And Morgan was always really good at that. And we talk about it. We say, let's sit here for a minute and come up with every possible scenario. I remember we had a pet bill, it was an animal cruelty bill a few years ago. And Morgan was the one that says, well, what if they've got a pet lizard? What if they've got a pet snake? And we all said, all right, well, actually, you're right. We were thinking about a puppy dog. And that's what we used. Morgan was really good at that. And we would argue and fuss and complain and then come back together and go out to eat dinner. Although Morgan, that's the reason Morgan doesn't eat the same kind of food everybody else does. So.
No, he doesn't, actually. So, we've had him over for lunch. So, yeah, well, Morgan...
We miss him, and we talk to him at least once or twice a year, try to get him on the phone and just kind of tell him, if you ever come back in Richmond, we'd love to have you stop by.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, we love having him, so we're not looking to get rid of him anytime soon. So, Rob Bell, I think I think that's about it. I thank you so much.
Really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so everybody knows, ed4senate.com. Go check out Ed's page. Learn his issues, share the page, get the word out. We are within striking distance of Election Day. It's just right around the corner, and we need to get Mark Warner out of here. And also, we got to re-elect Morgan Griffith. I believe it's morgangriffithforcongress.com, or it could be Morgan for Congress. Just look at the link right below, and that'll be the right link. So, but we got to re-elect Morgan. Share his page. Check out his page. And also, we have a mass meeting coming up October 4th at the Castlewood High School for selecting our 4th District Delegate nominee. Registration begins at 4. The meeting begins at 6. You definitely want to be there if you live within the 4th District. And also, October 10th is our banquet. Go to russellcountyvagop.org, scroll down, and just click on the link and get your tickets there if you want to attend. So that should be real good. Joel Southon, Rob Bell presenting the Food Freedom Act, and we'll be looking forward to all the exciting stuff happening in the next couple months. So until then, this is Dwayne McIntyre, Chairman of the Russell County Republican Party, and Rob Bell
from the 58th District.
Yes, and this is Campaign Corner.
That's good.